you're running the world's biggest biker bar at the biggest event, you are completely overwhelmed with details and people and being hammered with stuff that needs to be done. But the one thing I look forward to every day was looking at my cell phone and seeing Indian Larry's number come up. I hit it and he says, "Hey, MF'er, where are you?" He says, "We're riding the wall." That was the most special time of my rally, of my Sturgis, in many parts of my life, hanging out with the man, the icon, Indian Larry. And we have some phenomenal images, and we want to share those with you on my day with Indian Larry.
Jay, there's like 13 banner spots.
Looking out here,
trying to look
as far as you can, kind of over here.
Yeah, I'm trying to look for like chasing a horizon, sort of. Like, instead of looking normal, I'm trying to like look like that. And it helped yesterday. There was no like I wasn't getting dizzy.
I'll tell you, I was on the money in Myrtle. I mean, I was as clear as a bell. I could have gone up and stayed on that red line for 10.
Over backwards.
No, that was a year ago, Larry.
Okay.
Shit. And you know what I did? I came down and Jay goes, I had 2 hours sleep, and you know, I'm like you. I want to do it. I want to do it. So I get here. He says, "You remember?" Yeah. I just started climbing the wall. You know, instead of, I just go, I went up like this and just, boom, and it just fell over. You know, I literally, the go-kart landed on me with my back. Just didn't have enough speed, but it's just because I had done it in 6 months and I was fucking spaced out of my brains. I fucked up, okay? Hey. As my father'd say, and he died at 96 and he was born in 1903, I pulled a boner, okay?
You do any of this shit long enough,
you'll pull a boner.
Yeah,
you'll pull a boner. Oh man, my back. Upper, lower?
Up to here. Pinched nerve, like.
Lean back. I want you to really relax. 5 deep breaths, real nice and deep. Did I get anything?
I think you ripped my shoulder.
No. Something I got to ask you while we're just bullshitting is, how many hours are you getting in the shop today? Now that you've done the discovery stuff, how many hours are you actually getting in the shop and saying, we got to create something here, let's build something?
Not much, only if I'm filming. When I'm filming, we're in there attacking.
But that's an excuse to do it.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Cool.
That's the only way I get to build my bikes. Normally, I only get about 6 hours because in the mornings I got tons of I got agents, managers to deal with. At night, I got different appointments, so I get about 6 hours in the shop, maybe 8 if I'm lucky. You know, but a lot of that is people coming to meet and greet.
Yeah.
Business on the phone, appointments, photo shoots, filming, all kinds of stuff goes on.
Well, behind every famous person like yourself, when I say famous, I know that doesn't go to your head, but you are becoming a legendary bike builder. Obviously, there's this whole core of people behind you.
It wasn't an accident, though, Joe. I set out to become famous, and then after I realized I was getting some fame, I go, I not only want to be famous, I want to be a legend.
Yeah.
I go, why not? I said, because I figured with fame comes fortune, and if the fortune doesn't come, at least leave a legacy. You know, and
that's a great philosophy.
That's what I went out, to do.
But you know why you got it, in my opinion? You started out washing the fucking dishes first. You know what I'm saying? You start at the bottom. You don't get it without doing it.
Last year, I won the thing out here last year, the Discovery, the build-off.
Yeah.
And in the mornings, I would come in to wash the bikes and stuff to get them ready for the day, clean them up. And after all this time, like 40 years of building bikes, I was washing the bike, and I was standing there. There was nobody around. It was just the sun and me, and there early in the morning. And I realized, I go, it's 40 years later, and I'm just starting to learn about motorcycles. I'm washing it. I go, like, how can this be? I'm just starting to learn.
But inevitably, for the beginner like me, all of a sudden everything starts to go into warp zone. The G's have pushed the blood in the back of your eyes so far that everything starts getting blurry. Now that you understand what it's like to ride the wall, let's talk about Indian Larry. Now he knows everything I know about the wall, but when there's a line, Larry's got to cross it. And that's just the way he is. The guy goes up. Instantly, he doesn't strike a straight row of screws. He goes right below the red line. And we're going, oh my God, he's up to the red line. And then he had to cross it. Not once, but twice.
I was a little out of control, but not much.
You go watch the Wall of Death, and then you see Samantha Morgan or Jay Lightning ride that wall. That's the equivalent of someone earning the right to be a brain surgeon and spending 12 to 15 years in college before they ever crack open their first skull. That's the level these people are at, and that's how many steps it took to get there.
Oh, it's great. It's great. Doesn't get much better, except maybe on a motorcycle.
Just with that.
The shit you'll do for money.
That's a trick bill for a trick ride. That should belong to Jay.
Oh my God.
This tip for you.
All our currency should look like this.
I think that's Brazilian, isn't it?
That's why it was left-handed, right?
And if I were president, all currency would be a hell of a lot more fun. That's for damn sure. A tradition that goes back to 1918. When you see a novice, you see how hard it is. But when you see the pros, they make it look easy.
History of the rollers. All right, originally the rollers were put on the stage in the motorhome because when these first started appearing in carnivals, nobody knew what they were. There was an illusion show next to you, the girl show on the other side, side shows. So they rode the bike on the rollers to demonstrate that it was a motorcycle show and not a ride or an illusion show, and also to show some of the tricks that'll be done on the inside, because if people have never seen it before and you tell them on a microphone you're going to do acrobatics on a bike up on the side of the wall, number one, if they can envision it, you know what I mean, they don't believe it. And mostly you can't envision, you never saw it. It's very alien. So it just give them a little, they know the motorcycle's involved, and if they see some of the tricks and you tell them, at least it gives them some kind of an inkling of what, and or perhaps excites them enough with the noise to get them to buy a ticket upstairs. That was the old thing in the car.
Now question, the wall goes back to about 1918 approximately, give or
Yeah,
take.
maybe even
How about the
before that.
rollers? Do they go back as far?
They didn't know. They didn't have them originally. In the old days was the
Give
guys.
me a guesstimate on date. When did they
Dates.
start doing rollers?
Probably
Year.
40s.
So
I'm
in the
thinking.
40s.
Late 30s, 40s.
Late 30s,
I'm
40s.
thinking.
This is what it's all about. You know what? When life is hectic and all this shit is stressing you out, when you get on that wall, you're in the moment. You're in the second. All you can do is think about is focusing on that wall.
It's all worth it.
It's the shit.
You know what's like special about the motorhome that I think over other things? When you jump, you're in the air and you got the rush, and then you come down. When you're in a race, you do the race and it's over. In the drum, you get to go up there and like stay in the space. And then the longer you ride, then you can do other things in the space. So it's like you just pile it on and on. You know what I mean? Like it's just a wonderful place to be and to stay in the moment.
Yeah.
In a
I
moment.
love watching you guys up there.
And you know what?
beautiful.
I was here in the
It's beautiful
70s, man, and it's better than any drug I ever tried.
100%. Beats drugs, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Adrenaline.
If you've got a drug problem,
Adrenaline.
learn how to ride the wall.
Right, everybody should.
Now I got to tell you, this is so cool. We're out here by Bear Butte Mountain. We're filming Indian Larry, but we always thought it would be cool. And what's funny, I was talking to Sonny Barger, the Hells Angels, yesterday, and he said, you know what would be cool is the filming the riding shots. And it's like he was reading our mind. Over this camera's back is a helicopter waiting for us to take off, and they will be up just going all over us while we're filming Indian Larry, who's got to be one of the funnest guys in the world to ride with. to film Indian Larry. Now imagine this. We take off, we're heading down the road, we're getting our bikes up to speed, and Larry grabs the bars, jerks. Next thing you know, he's standing up, only to find out that the prop wash from the helicopter we rented about blows him off his motorcycle. Insane. This guy is crazy. He barely hung on. This guy's been building choppers for over 40 years in strictly old school stuff. His inspiration goes back to the 50s and 60s clubs, and also guys like Ed Big Daddy Roth, artist, car builder, motorcycle customizer, and definitely the originator of the Rat Fink. And also, don't forget Von Dutch. Larry loved Von Dutch, and after he passed away, he is truly the legendary icon pinstriper of all time. Now don't forget, Larry was not only a skilled machinist, but a master motorcycle mechanic, a metal sculptor. With a classic blend between choppers and hot rod race bikes, this definitely defined Larry's style. Now don't forget, Larry just wasn't a bike builder. He was also in movies like Oz, Bloodsport, Quiz Show, and The Third Watch. And to watch Paul Cox and Larry ride, these two soulmates were like the gears of a Ferrari. It was so cool just to watch them ride together. And Paul Cox, a master leatherman. When you saw Paul riding, Larry usually wasn't far behind. And to watch these soulmates standing up, surfing their bikes at over 60 miles an hour, it will blow you away. They definitely earned the title of the biggest balls ever to come out of Brooklyn. Back of that camera bike and look and see a guy that's been doing this trade for over 40 years, and that not only building bikes on the level he's building them, but to see how this guy's evolved as a rider. It was almost scary to, one second he's sitting there and I'm just kind of relaxed filming him, and so abruptly, so quickly, he grabs a bar and he jumps to the seat and then he jerks up and he's standing there. It almost scared me. I mean, I kind of wobbled the camera instead of staying focused like a good cameraman does, because it was so abrupt and so quick. And then once he settled in, all of a sudden he's just standing there, rear foot in the seat, left foot on the gas cap of his tank, and he's just passing me by slowly, looking ahead, arms in the air, wind blowing his hair. What an incredible sight. We're a bunch of fucking hillbillies laying on a bike with a motorcycle strap, but thanks for dealing with the little guy, you know what I mean?
Fun. This is fun.
they're not doing it just for the cameras. They're doing it for themselves. They've got to feed the need. And when we were filming Larry, and I give him the nod, like, okay, you can pass this, we're gonna bring Paul up and film him. I just happened to glance over my shoulder to see where Larry was, to see that he had his feet crossed up between the handlebars, and he was laying down like he was in a lazy boy chair. Not to be filmed, just because, you know, he had to feed the need. Riding like Larry and Paul doesn't happen overnight, and it's really learned by a series of close calls. I'm talking thousands of them to evolve to the level of Paul and Larry. And today, Larry had a very close call.
Pussy.
Pussy. We're definitely cutting this guy's choners. He will be a bike building legend if I make it myself.
I'm a pussy licking legend.
Pussy licking bike builders, what you are.
Pussy licking bike builder.
Say that 5 times. Pussy licking bike builder.
Pussy licking bike builder. Pussy licking bike builder. Pussy licking bike builder.
That's 3.
Pussy licking bike builder.
4.
Pussy licking bike builder.
All right.
You gotta show me the one in Billy.
Yeah, I've got that at the
You know what
bar.
that crazy fucker was doing in Hawaii? He blew up the panhandle motor, so we were gonna go to Deacon Shop. So we figured, let's throw the bike in a truck and find a truck. And fuck that. So he went to a car, an abandoned car. He cut the seatbelt down, tied it on the front, tied it to another bike. So we're towing it back, and he stands up and he's surfing on top of the bike while they're towing him back.
That's good shit.
That's what I told him.
That's good stuff.
That's fucking balls and skillful.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So that was, plus the bike was being jerked. He's going, yeah. And he was up there, he's like, and I go, oh man, let him just stay up there. Good stuff.
It's about having.
Did you get anything good?
You slipped off
Once.
Oh, because one time over here, I was, or up there, I guess it was, I was getting prop washed. What the fuck, why am I so unstable? And I realized the helicopter, and I felt the wind coming, I was prop washed.
That's something I got to point out. But you know, Larry's sitting there doing all these acrobatics on his bike. Meanwhile, this chopper is filming this whole thing. He's getting backwash off the blades, and it almost blew him off his bike. That's freaking crazy.
No, it was me fucking up. It wasn't. No, because I was going to do the 1 foot to scale. You know?
I saw you get a little wobbly up there.
Yeah, because I must have hit a little bump or something.
You take them because you know what. Oh, Jesus.
I'll say right here, dude, they grab the handlebar, like, oh, fuck, you're gonna win some here, you're right.
No, but it wasn't even. I've been literally a couple of times where I was just barely hanging on to the bike, and I go, this is it, and I climb back on. You know, you really got to be so out of shape that you know, a little slip is nothing. You know, you just can't panic.
I got to tell you, this is the stuff memories are made of, and this is the validation. You know, everybody go, what's this TV hype? What's all this Indian Larry shit and this Billy Lane and Kendall Johnson, all this stuff? they're crazy motherfuckers. That's the bottom line. But I mean, they're not only talented bike builders, but the bottom line is this shit's in their blood. It's a lifestyle. It's not a trend. And this is the exhibition of what I'm talking about.
This is us. This is really
it's validation.
What we are. You know, it's what we are.
What
it's
we
not
are.
some fake thing or put on. It's just really what we are. You know, it's.
And does this not feed the need? I mean, this is what keeps us going.
We have to do this. We don't have a choice. No, it's like when I ride like that, it's like I have to do that. It's just not like, I mean, you know, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but I have to do that or I'm not alive. You know, it's just, you see me laughing after we get done, I go, this is what it's all about. I'm going to do this as long as I possibly can, build bikes and ride until I really can't do it anymore.
Well, that's our pack. Me too.
And then hopefully you go to sleep that night and you don't wake up then.
Well, you know what happens?
After that's going to be a sad day. Is our work here done?
We're done, man.
We're done. Thank you, guys.
Well, that's kind of interesting too, because to talk to him now about the bikes he builds, he'll always make a point, and he would always say, you know, thanks, I appreciate it with the bike, whatever, but it's always this guy, there's this guy, there's this guy, there's that one. It wasn't just me, it's them, because everybody plays a part, because there's no way that he could possibly expect to do it all. But he could do it all. That's the thing. He was a painter. He could shoot paint. He could work metal. He could build an engine like you wouldn't believe. He builds his own frames. I mean, he could literally, short of stamping the tires out of rubber, you know, he could make the thing from the ground up completely alone. Well, you know where that kind of whole dynamic is based that you're just describing is when you're with somebody and you're riding and you feel that feeling where you don't even have to make like even a nod or a motion, that when you're going to turn, he's going to turn. When you want to jump a lane, he's going to jump a lane and give you the spot, whatever it is. And I mean, that was just the basis of it all. Like, what was it? I guess in Sturgis, we rolled into your place this past year, and we're just kind of riding along and thinking, oh, we see your spot. He gives a little nod, and I just know what he's thinking, right? We just roll right in the front door, right up to the stage, and light him up. And it was just great. And we didn't say a word to each other. And it was just the way every day was riding with them.
That's the way time goes.
9, you know,
click. Like
probably like 8, 9 years ago, back at Psycho Cycles, one of the shops, we had a 4th of July party, and it was just still in his wild days before he did clean up. He made no bones about the fact that he'd been sober for, I guess, about 5 years now, which was the longest he had been in his entire life, since I think he was 18. And he was just having a time at this party, but his whole spirit, you know, like personality was all or nothing, good or bad. You know,
he was extreme.
Like fight or laugh or whatever it was extreme. It was all or nothing. And he would just be partying, having a good old time, but it would like click, and then you just see that look come across his face, and it was like at this party. And he had just done some hidden mounts on his exhaust, on his gas tank, and he had been trying to like perfect this mounting system that it wouldn't crack because of the weight of the tank perched up high, and he wanted a nice, you know, 4.5 gallon tank. And it cracked on him at this party, and he was already like getting into the party in a little bit. So he just had a complete freak out, beat the whole bike down with a 2x4, hitting half of the people that were trying to stop him. And this was a Voodoo Chili, this purple and green bike that he had built some time ago. Until we finally had to, and he's pulling out, the thing's spitting fuel out of the tank. He's not stopping, he still wants to run it. And we've got fireworks piled up in the middle of the street. This is in New York City, in downtown New York. And we've got fireworks piled up in the middle of the street like as big as you and me, and we're riding through them and everything, right? So he just wants to take the thing, spitting fuel and gas, and ride through it and just blow himself up. He completely does not care. And he's not fucking around. He's not kidding. He'll just ride through it, set the thing on fire, and keep going until fuck knows what happens. He does not care. He's in that mode.
When we got back, we spent a couple of days, and then we go on a discovery ride. And we went from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, down to North Carolina, Charlotte. And on the ride, Larry had taken a bag of chains and made a frame out of it. He literally had a bag of chain and welded every link and made a motorcycle frame out of it. And we were all betting, it's gonna break, it's gonna break. And he said, it ain't gonna break. I said, Larry, I'm telling you that frame's gonna break. But you know what? That frame did not break.
and this guy was doing no less than 120 miles an hour. We were riding with some guys who had FXRs, you know, stock bikes, you know, 120. Their speedos were pinned at, and Larry was pulling away from everybody. That's.
If you want to catch me being me, turn on the camera and you'll get what you get.
That was the thing about Larry. Like, he did do that stunt. They asked him to ride through the wall of fire, and then when he was doing his surfing, he was just winding down. He was so charged up. I mean, he was done with the stunt, and it was 90 degrees down there, and they had AC cranking in the building. So I said, Larry, let's go back inside. You know, it's hot as hell out here. He goes, all right, I'm just gonna, surf a couple more times. I just gotta calm down. And that was his way to calm down.
When he said that, did you sense that he looked overly tired or anything?
He was just very charged up. If you know, you've been around Larry.
Oh, yeah.
When he doesn't have people around, he's fine. But when he gets all charged up, he's got all those people, he's like, he needs to calm down, you know?
He feeds off it.
He feeds off it, yeah. and he needed to get a little serenity. And that's how he does it. The surfing, that's his thing, that's his trademark. And he got on the bike, and he did a pass, and then he did the second pass. And I realized, I was snapping pictures of the whole thing. And when I put the camera down, I realized he was just going too slow. And I'd never seen him go that slow. He usually just kicks his feet out and lands back on the bike and takes off. I mean, this guy does this standing up at 60 miles an hour. So for him to go down at 5 miles an hour, just watching him, you knew something was wrong. And it was just so hot, and I had breakfast with him that day. So, I know he had coffee, and he didn't drink any water for the rest of the day. And
Dehydration.
I think the heat just got to him for a second, because it wasn't a dramatic thing. The way he just kind of fell right off the side gracefully, but he never put his hands out. That's how we know he wasn't conscious. Because if he would have just put his hands out, it would have been fine.
What symbolism does the question mark have for Indian Larry?
Well, Larry always explained it like, to me anyway, I've heard him explain it to people, and it was just like, what is life all about? He always told people, follow your dreams and don't let anything get in your way and stop you, and be true to yourself is basically Larry's philosophy.
I remember in Myrtle Beach we had the Broken Spoke Celebrity Bike Show, and Indian Larry was one of our feature builders, and we were so proud to have him there. And he was back behind a trailer just getting away for a while, because I'll tell you one thing about Larry. He could never turn his back on anyone. If he heard his name, he would turn around. He never denied anyone a photograph or an autograph. The guy was 100%. And I knew he was back behind the trailer, but you couldn't see him. And up walks this lady with a little red-headed girl. She had the reddest hair you've ever seen. And the little girl looks at me and says, "Where's Indian Larry?" And in respect to Larry, I acted like I didn't know where he was. And I said, "Well, he's not here right now." And she says, "Well, then we'll come back." And they started to walk off, and I thought to myself, I just can't do this. There's something about that little girl, the way she said, where's Indian Larry? That I called him. I said, "Hey, hold on a second." And they turn around, and I says to the little girl, you want to meet Indian Larry? And she lit up, and she goes, "Yes." And when I say she said yes, it was something very internal. It wasn't just a little smile like a little kid getting a piece of candy. This was like a little kid seeing Santa Claus for the first time. So I take this little girl around the corner, and when she sees Larry, it was as if her whole body had this sigh of relief. And she went running up, and being the guy that Larry was, he said, "Hey baby," he says, "you want to sit on my bike?" And she swung her leg over that bike like she was riding it for 20 years with Larry. And he stepped around the back, and I said, "Hey, let me get a picture, you guys. This is a moment in time. This is something that's really cool." And I took a picture that every time I look at it, it warms my heart. Not just about what kind of guy Larry was, but it's a picture about two people that never met each other before, yet you'd swear they've known each other their whole lives. I like to say is finally, he's like a Mersenne pipe who is completely matured and saturated with all of the things he's done in life, that he's finally reached a point where that's what made him the real deal. This is a guy that was so at peace with himself that when you would come up to him, he would make you feel at peace with yourself. And me, having known Larry for such a short time, I'm going to tell you right now, and I've got the balls to say it, I've known Larry for a long time. And I felt when I heard that Larry was gone, I felt like I'd lost a true friend and lost somebody that I wanted to share a lot more memories with, and a guy that that it's a shame that he was taken from us, because I think he made us all feel better about ourselves. And when Larry entered the Broken Spoke on his bike, or when he and I were riding the Wall of Death together, there was just something special about that moment. Maybe deep down subconsciously, something inside me knew that Larry was a special person and that he wasn't going to be around a long time, because I got to tell you, I savored every moment I spent with Indian Larry.